Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Where do you need to be other than here? I would say in the description box or in the comment section, because that's where you will find the link to my Teespring brand new designs just uploaded, and you can get your hands on them for 20% off. Promo code Sloppy Joe, all caps. Bam. So these protests that are going on these commie campuses, I mean college campuses, it's getting crazy. And hold on a second. I want to make sure I got something. I got something right. And at first, it started out with the little protests and their tents and whatnot. And who's buying all these tents, by the way? Did all of these kids, these college kids, happen to make their way down to Big Five or Dick's Sporting Goods? Do you guys have Big Five outside of California? Let me know. Is that just a California thing? But did they go to their local sporting goods store and grab all the Coleman tents? How did they get them out there? Did they buy them, or was it kind of was it one of those BLM summer of 2020 stacks of bricks that were left along their riot route? Remember that? There'd be pallets full of bricks where BLM was about to come through and peacefully protest. There's something like that, or Soros's demon-like fingerprints all over it. I don't know. You tell me. I'll be meeting you in the comment section. You enlighten me. But that's how it started at first, and their stupid little chants and those dumb little checkered black and white checkered scarves that they wear because they think they're one of us, but they're too scared to actually go there and protest where the shit's happening. But anyway, that's how it started out at first. And then now you're starting to see this. Now we're seeing remnants. We're seeing some familiar stuff. We're seeing some familiar acts. And now you're starting to see kind of the BLM summer of 2020 type shit going on. Look at this. This is on the campus of UCLA. Now that guy just took some pepper spray to the face. Now it's getting violent. Dude did a double jump kick and couldn't even break a plywood board. But this is supposed to free Palestine. So the Palestinians are over there getting worked. Buildings blowing up around them. Your mother's blood and guts are splattered all over your face. But you look in your phone and you see, oh, UCLA, they're jumping up and down on plywood boards and spraying each other with pepper spray. That makes me feel better. They're not doing shit. You saw it on Columbia University campuses. Now the NYPD are being called in to remove these encampments. It's about damn time. But they didn't want to do it too quickly because they didn't want anybody to cry and the police brutality and the lawsuits. So that's why I'm assuming why it took them so long to get in there and tell those dirty hippies to go back to class. And then you have stuff like this. Bam. So hold on a second. I'll share the screen with you. Now you finally have the NYPD coming in and clearing out these filthy patchouli oil smelling wannabe hippies.
What's your name?
Oh, you're hurting me. You're hurting me. You're hurting my pussy.
What's your name?
Oh, these are too tight on my ladylike wrist. Oh, I got sand on my clit. It hurts. So they're dragging these little fuckers out finally. I thought we had fire hoses in this country. Right? Isn't that how the firefighters put the fires out? I thought we had fire hoses in this country. I thought we had tear gas in this country. When you go through boot camp, they give you tear gas. They put you through tear gas. These people aren't good enough for some tear gas treatment. Why didn't you throw a few canisters in the crowd? That would have cleared them out quick. You know those pussies aren't going to stand around and take that. They would have scattered like the little roaches that they are. So Columbia University is in New York City. New York City! It's happening all over the place. University of Virginia, University of Texas, Austin, Columbia, UCLA. All these college campuses have been overrun by these little wannabe hippies. They're not real hippies. Hippies actually have some shit to protest about. These are just rich kids that want to act like they're doing something. And speaking of UCLA, on another video, I told you the tuition at Columbia and these other universities where this shit was happening. But let's look up UCLA tuition. And I'll get to my point in a second. So UCLA for academic year 23-2020 or 23-24, undergraduate tuition and fees at University of Los Angeles are okay. So the fees are $13,000 for students living in California, $28,000 for others. Tuition fees and for most doctoral master's programs, $16 grand per year for California residents and $31,000 for those coming outside of the state. So you have these parents in Columbia, I think it was 70,000. Harvard is around the same. So you have these parents spending tens of thousands of dollars a year. That's just every year. And you're probably there for 4, right? If not more. So you have these parents spending tens of thousands of dollars a year to send their kids to school, to go to class, not to be hanging around, living in tents, fucking around during class. You're supposed to be in class. And you even have the faculty members, the teachers, the professors locking arms and blocking the police as well, blocking access to school. So are these universities going to give discounts or give refunds for this time that you guys were bullshitting, not allowing people in class? Because I know if I'm a parent paying this kind of money for you to go to school to these prestigious universities, so-called, I'm going to be pretty pissed off when I find out that you were out there in the courtyard talking about free a country that you're too pussy to go to. I would be highly upset. You cracking an egg on my forehead and that bitch is going to fry. So I wonder what the parents think. But then in comes Mayor Eric Adams. Yes, the mayor of New York City. The mayor who called for the asylum seekers to come to New York. We will not refuse you shelter. We will take care of you. We will give you everything you need, everything you want. We will pay millions of dollars for you to stay here and suck the resources from New York citizens. That same jackass. The same mayor who went to Mexico for some stupid reason. You're the mayor of New York. Not sure why you're going to Mexico. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. And Mayor Eric Adams said something, this is crazy, but he said something that I can agree with. And I think all of us can agree with it. Now, what he's talking about is on the Columbia campus, and I talked about this in a video yesterday, where the students who are allowed to run amok, just like these autonomous zones during the summer of 2020, where Portland just gave up 6 blocks. Here you go. No police, no nothing. So these kids are allowed to run amok and basically take over portions of the campus. And in doing so, they decided it was a good idea to take down the American flag and replace it with the Palestinian flag. And in that video, I went on to talk about how I feel about that and how I feel about these politicians who go to the Capitol building or go to work, whether they're the Senate or in the Senate or they're congressmen and women. They're at work, they're on the clock, and they're wearing these flags of other countries on their lapel, more specifically, Ukraine. So these little bastards, these little Marxists in training decided to take down the American flag and replace it with the Palestinian flag. I'm not for that. I'm a nationalist. I'm an American snob. My country is better than yours, and I'll be damned if you're going to represent some other piece of shit in our country. And Mayor Eric Adams basically said the same thing. I know. I will give you a second to pick your jaw up off the floor because, like a little kid who sticks a butter knife into a socket, I was shocked. Go ahead, Mayor.
Another significant part of the video was at the end. That's our flag, folks. Don't take over our buildings and put another flag up. That may be fine to other people, but it's not to me. My uncle died defending this country. And these men and women put their lives on the line. And it's despicable that schools will allow another country flag to fly in our country. So blame me for being proud to be an American. And I thank Commissioner Daughtry for putting that flag back up. We're not surrendering our way of life to anyone.
So you have, these are the cops right here who are on the Columbia University campus, and they took down the Palestinian flag that these little fuckers ran up the flagpole, and they replaced it with the American flag. Now, protesting on college campuses and being little dirty hippies is nothing new. You saw it all through the 60s and the 70s with the Vietnam War and everything. But that doesn't make it any easier to see, and that doesn't make it right. And especially for some bullshit reason like this, these kids aren't for real. This is just the latest thing. I don't know if they feel some kind of guilt because they're so well-to-do, because if chances are, if you're going to Columbia or UCLA or UNC, North Carolina, Chapel Hill and all that shit, you come from money. Now, are there some Goodwill Hunting kids who get there through a program and some help and you come from the gutter and all that bullshit? Yeah, sure. But that is the exception, not the rule. Chances are, if you go to these schools, your parents have money. Your great-grandfather's name is on the very hall that you sleep in, the dorm you sleep in, or the hall you go to class in. These kids got money. Look at most of our past presidents: Princeton, Harvard, Cornell, Brown, Columbia. You got money, you got prestige when you go to these schools. So you have no real struggle in life. Yeah, my dad used to get drunk and slap my mom around. Yeah, okay, but that's easier to deal with when you got a bunch of fucking money. Now, I'm not saying rich kids have a great life, but you got a damn good life. And if you don't think money can buy you happiness, I got some magic beans I want to sell you after the show. Money makes it easier. Money makes your life better. You don't have a lot of stress if you have money. You have all the material things that you need, probably more than you need. So these kids come from money. Do they feel like do they feel a guilt? Like the survivor's guilt that some of these rich athletes and entertainers have. They come from the ghetto. Now they got money. That's why their dumbasses go back to the hood and get shot. Maybe they feel like, oh, my life was so easy. I have to do something. I have to help people who have it harder than me. I have to help some brown-faced person halfway around the world. If they really wanted to help, they would go over to Gaza and protest there to the Palestinian government, not protest here in America. And our government ain't going to do shit. We're funding both sides. We're sending Band-Aids and bottled water to the people in Gaza, and we're sending billions of dollars of military aid to Israel. And shit, who knows what we're giving to Palestine? We gave money to Iran. Iran is funding the Palestinians. We're giving money to both sides. Remember the Iran deal that gave them $150 billion? You think they bought hummus with that shit? You think they were putting in greenhouses with that shit and they were building schools and roads with that money? Hell no. They're training extremists and they're arming them to the teeth. Who knows? Maybe they're using some of the shit we left behind in Afghanistan. We acted like we were a family who got kicked out by the bank and we didn't have a chance to pack up all of our shit. We left all kinds of stuff in Afghanistan. You think some of that didn't end up with the Iranians or the Palestinians? We're funding all sides of this shit. But if these little snot-nosed pricks wanted to really do something, if you really wanted to free Palestine, go to Palestine. You're not going to free Palestine by acting like a jackass in America. One more time, Mayor Eric Adams.
And another significant part of the video was at the end. That's our flag, folks. Don't take over our buildings and put another flag up. That may be fine to other people, but it's not to me. My uncle died defending this country. And these men and women put their lives on the line. And it's despicable that schools will allow another country flag to fly in our country. So blame me for being proud to be an American. And I thank Commissioner Daughtry for putting that flag back up. We're not surrendering our way of life to anyone.
Well, Mayor Eric Adams, I got to hand it to you, man. On a lot of other things, you suck. But on this one, I think we agree.